morning, everyone. Welcome to a new month, March. How you doing? It's a great show today. My name is Moriah Afolabi Brown. As always, I never ever do this alone. I have my lovely co-host. Good morning, ladies. Talkback in the building.
Yo, how you doing?
Yo,
any problems?
Yo,
Can you solve them?
Where have you been?
Well,
Before I let you answer that question, we have to introduce our
yes, we have
fantastic Mr. Chris Nwokobia. Did I get that right? Welcome to the show. It's good to have you with us.
My pleasure to be here.
Good to be here. All right, we missed Talk. Talk hasn't been around for a whole month.
Yes.
So we need to find out where have you been, because your fans are wondering.
Yeah,
Find the best lie.
no, but actually it's the truth. And something over the past 1 month, February, I've actually done some trainings, personal training and training for people. One of the training is still ongoing. I'm learning how to drive finally at old age. One, number two, I've trained like two makeup artists that are in their like mature people that were willing to learn, and I was impressed with how well they were willing to take up a new skill, which I was going to link to Buhari's Chatham House speech.
We'll talk about that
No. I'm picking out where Buhari was calling power for the first time. He was calling it power, and I heard it clearly, and I felt that this is a man that in his 70s was willing to listen to people tell him, don't call it power again, change your tune. So my own take was that at no age would you stop learning. You need to keep on learning. You need to improve yourself every time.
We missed you, Shao.
We definitely miss
I'm happy to be back.
Because I wasn't, when you went that Buhari, I was like, hey, is she company? What she's doing?
No. You got my point. He was willing to learn at old age.
Fantastic point. Okay, Chris.
My pleasure to
They
be
did not
here.
want you to come. All the forces tried to stop you.
Yes, so
But we are happy that they will conquer them. Yes. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
All right, you're having tea too. You know, we ladies, we like to have tea coffee this morning.
Well.
I can't see any steam, but it is well. Something's happening. All right, let's take a quick break. Oh, I didn't ask Nima. How you doing, Nima?
in the building.
Nima, tell us now. She has gone on the express for the first time.
Oh, really?
You cannot keep a secret. And I called her
That's that learning
Yes,
how to drive in old age.
First time drivers. You,
Oh.
Nima, Sanzi. My shield. You know how many years I've been driving? Many years. I can't even remember her last.
See, Sabi.
That's not fair.
How has it been?
She has been driving 10 years. Can you imagine?
But she never got into the
I
express.
never got into the express.
Fantastic. Jumzo.
Weekend
How's
was
the
good.
weekend?
Weekend was good. Restful. Exercise on Saturday. Walk. Lots of cleaning yesterday.
You go dancing?
No, I didn't go
nice.
dancing. But I started doing exercises for my stomach again, running, sit-ups, all the things. I started yesterday. I did it again today. So
That's good.
I jumped
I
on
had
it.
serious plans this weekend. Plans to do so many things.
And what did you do?
I couldn't leave the bed. I was practically on bed throughout Saturday. It was like past 6. One of my house said, Madam, I thought you wanted to go and dance. I said, oh my God, I totally forgot. I just slept through the whole, we just gisted and just talking.
Body needs
Honestly,
rest.
Yeah, I'm telling you. But God, Chris, anything happened that you want to share with us over the weekend?
Oh, presently, I was just with my books, my favorite hobby.
Yeah, these men are books.
My favorite.
No, no wonder they're always talking
I
about
was
it.
doing it at the right
But
time.
it's interesting. All right, with the book. That's what there's a guy, Cyril, that stays with us. Every time we ask him, how's your weekend? He said,
He was
my
reading.
books.
And then writing. So
All right,
I write a lot.
we'll take a quick break. When we return, we'll look through the front pages of the newspaper. Stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, let's start with Punch. Jega's removal could derail polls, says Kwara on Osun governors. Front page here, fuel scarcity hits Lagos, worsens in Abuja, others. Banks lose 24.5% of market value. Senate pledges to pass budget in 2 weeks. 9 lawmakers reject plan to impeach Ebonyi governor. Jonathan, ready for Buhari, says PDP. All right, this issue of Jega, let me start with Chris, because it's all over the papers. They want to remove him. They're going to send him on terminal leave. They're saying, some people are saying, oh, they need a 2/3 majority to do that. They can't do it. It's illegal. What's your take on this story?
I think that the tragedy of politics is the fact that almost always we overlook the fundamentals and the real issues. Jega is not a civil servant. So when people talk about terminal leave, it doesn't apply to Jega. Jega is an appointee, a tenure appointee of the federal government. And so the Constitution stipulates how he can be removed. And it will be utterly and absolutely unfair to the process that he has begun to even tinker with the possibility of taking him out before the election. The election is just about 4 weeks away. So to think about removing Jega is absolutely illogical, it's absolutely unfair to the collective sensibilities of the Nigerian people who expect free and fair elections come 28th of March.
When, before the postponement, oh, if they postpone it, hell, we broke loose. Oh, this will happen, that would this. And nothing happened. We all kind of just accepted it. So,
I think we live in a country where the people have no say. The people can't protest, we can't say anything, things will just happen without, we accept things easily in Nigeria. The fuel went up, it comes down, crises take place, things that are not legal, things that are unconstitutional will take place easily in Nigeria and nothing would happen. However, concerning this, I feel that if the government actually wants a free and fair election, an election that will have the best outlook, they should let him, who have been running the process, continue with the game.
I agree with Tokwe and
we didn't establish
Mr. Chris.
The
difference between this and the postponement is that it was within the law to postpone. So people, kind of knew they had no issues. They just, accepted it. But this one is completely different. And now what bothers me is that this man has been credited to be, a credible person by the same people who are now saying he should be suspended or removed or put on 3 months terminal leave. So I wonder if he could do the 2011 elections and it was credible.
But let us be careful. Let's be very careful with using this word credible, because if he does the elections and for some reason
the elections are incredible.
Then we now go back to, they should remove Jega. They should have removed Jega. That argument might come up.
No, but don't take this away. In 2011, like she said, Jega was accredited to have conducted a credible election by the same people. And now that the groundswell of public opinion is pro-change, Jega has suddenly become a villain. And his villainy is going to attract removal. That's a tragedy of sorts. I think that the truth is that now is the time for the Nigerian people to collectively coalesce at that place where we must say no to Jaga's removal. Mr. President, you do not have the powers to remove Jega. And Nigerians expect free, fair, and credible elections come March 28th and April 11th.
And the president has said that they are not removing him. These are all speculations. And the Osun State and Kwara State governors were just saying, based on speculation, it will be dangerous, for the polity to do that.
And as Cyril has said, there's been lots of rumors that became facts. So we need to be very careful. So let us not just sweep under the carpet. It's possible. Moving on to The Nation. Major headline. Fear of new post shift rises. APC seeks sanction for PDP leaders. NGO rise for Jega. You can see the picture here of solidarity with the population and support to our armed forces. United Cameroon Coalition. That's people take part in a demonstration in downtown Yaoundé against Islamist group Boko Haram in Cameroon. Let's see. Marketers halt importation as petrol scarcity persists. And I think this is a quote about Jega's removal. We talked about that already. Let's not dwell into that. I'm not seeking to be president, says Tinubu. All right, let's talk about that very quickly. Or which story would fuel scarcity?
I'm happy that Tinubu is responding, because there's been the speculation over and over again about him trying to get into the presidency through the back door over and over again. And I think that, like I was saying it before the show, there's so much conspiracy theory over and over again. Can we just take things at face value? He has said he's not interested. Let's just go ahead and have a free
talk about it because it's going to be our let's stop. So I don't want us to dig too further into it. But let's move on to the Vanguard. Major headline. Tension mounts on presidency over Jega. Talked about that. Fuel scarcity worsens. NNPC promises improved supply. 50 Federal Ministry of Works contract firms forge tax certificates, says ICPC. Why local investors shun e-commerce sector. Beware, suicide bombers on the prowl, says military. EPZ, Jonathan wades into Tompolo. Ayiri for face-off. Okay, and we cannot miss the picture of those Chelsea fans. If I miss it, I'll be in trouble. Chelsea obviously won A cop at last. that's what they wrote here.
At last.
A cop at last. Coach Jose Mourinho lies on the ground as Chelsea celebrates winning the Capital One Cup at Wembley yesterday. Oh, I saw they won the Premier League.
It's not Premier League.
What's the celebration
We're
for?
going to win the Premier League soon. There's a Capital One Cup.
Then I saw the host. I thought it was Premier League or Champions League.
World Cup.
What's
Capital
it is?
One
Capital
again?
One. What is that
Capital
again?
One Cup.
Somebody was saying it's a plastic cup.
Capital One. Let's not get to the bad side. Capital toothpaste. Capital One.
Capital One Cup, yes.
All right, but let's talk
And
about.
the
Let's pick up
trophy
this.
is a trophy, you know.
The trophy. Oh, sorry.
The trophy is a trophy. yeah.
See that their star. What's that guy's name? So
Oh,
celebrating.
Proudly blue.
The African guy.
What's his name?
Proudly blue.
What's his boy's name?
Sierra Leone and
No.
Drogba.
Drogba, yeah.
Seriously celebrating as if it was Champions League. All right, let's talk about this ICPC matter.
I read that story and I was really impressed by what ICPC seems like. We hear a lot about EFCC, but we don't hear much about ICPC. Well, over the past, they did an investigation and they were delivering that investigation report to the House Committee on Narcotics and all that. And it was that they discovered that there were 50 out of 156, that's about a third of people, the contractors were using false tax certificates. And I wonder how did they go through, because it should be a screening process. There's a due process that the obviously Equisili put in place that everything should be screened. How come it is much later they realized that it was false tax certificates? Also, they discovered 45,000 ghost workers in Ministry of Finance alone. 45,000, saving the country 100 billion.
What?
See why Buhari was saying that they can afford to give free education, because if they can cut off all those loopholes, they can give food, they can give social amenities to people. 100 billion, 45,000 ghost workers, they don't exist and they be collecting salaries.
But do you know that, what that tells me is that if Buhari becomes president, all this there won't be Jega anymore. It won't be so attractive to go to become a politician. It won't be attractive to be a public sector servant anymore, because the truth is that all those loopholes will be blocked. Chris, yeah?
What should make one go into politics is service.
Thank
actually.
you.
Yeah.
You know, it's a tragedy that we live in a country where your recurrent expenditure every
more than
year,
capital.
it's far more than, not just more than.
70 to
Before
30.
Jonathan, it was 62%. Now it's 86% recurrent expenditure. That's a tragedy of it all. And so when people are talking about the need to cut down the cost of governance, PDP people and Jonatanians think that we're just politicking and we're just talking from partisan perspectives. But the truth is, things must change. The truth is that the way governance runs in this country must change. And ultimately, the beauty of it all is that the Nigerian people aggregate at that point. And we're saying, never again are we going to have a bazaar in the name of governance. Never again are we going to have this kind of thing. You know, because when you're looking at it, you ask yourself, how do they go through, how does their papers go through the screening processes? And you know that some big wigs, some big guns in the party obviously send these people, and so nobody has the time to scrutinize their papers.
Okay, let's move on to...
That's the tragedy of it all. And I believe that ultimately, if we continue to do what we're doing, the pressure will mount on the system, and whichever party, and I believe that the change movement will win, and ultimately we'll begin a new drive at reshaping our country.
Moving on to Daily Sun. Security alert on terror plot. Boko Haram plans to bomb schools, motor parks, worship centers, says DSS. Suspected terrorists set ablaze in Bauchi. Fuel scarcity hits Lagos. Queues at petrol stations. Ebonyi governor accuses deputy of championing impeachment. And INEC to deploy the 134,000 core members as ad hoc staff. All right, security alert.
Finally agreed. This is going to everybody to watch out at every public place, shops, places of worship, schools, that because of the attack on Boko Haram, they are now using suicide bombers based on their desperation, and they're using mostly females. So everyone has to be on red alert. This was the DSS talking.
No, it's not our job to secure our own lives. It is not our
But
job
we can
to
be alert. If you see anything, call the...
In fact, people have started being alert because a girl was burnt in Bauchi yesterday.
She was burnt.
Burnt alive because they suspected her to be, trying to carry out a suicide bombing, and they tried to search her and found 2 bottles on her. They didn't bother to find out what the contents were. The bottles were under her hijab, so they just attacked the lady and burnt her in the market.
For me, I think the DSS, the security operatives, their job is secret service, supposed to be behind the scene, and what we should hear is that, oh, they averted this one, they averted that one. I'm not saying, I'm not opposed to being alert.
These were not security agents, they were the market people.
No, but is there anything new about this information?
No.
Because let's be dispassionate here. We have been living under alarmist informations for years now. Yeah. It was so much last year, and now the alarmist information continues. What are we going to do? The truth is that, like she said, I'm not the CNC. I'm not the Commissioner of Police. I'll do my best by taking care of my family and then ensuring that I inform people if I suspect something. But the truth is that after spending over 4 trillion on security, I don't need alarmist information. I need government to protect me. And that is the foremost expectation of the Nigerian citizenry from government.
Okay. I expect them to just come out, and what I want to be seeing more in the report is that the DSS will say, we averted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We don't see that as much. We don't see that as much.
Okay, let's move on to the Guardian, our last paper for this morning. How new forex policy others trigger Nigeria's fuel scarcity. PDP asks candidates, others to brace for more sacrifice. Afri-Project's partners insist on non-complicity in fraudulent PTF contracts. 2 female suicide bombers kill selves, others in Borno. It is fuel scarcity for all sabotage. And you can see the picture here, President Jonathan during a meeting with youth in Lagos. That's our hot topic for this morning. We'll talk about that a bit later. But anything else, nothing major.
Is it fuel scarcity or sabotage? Is it fuel scarcity or sabotage? Now, the fuel marketers are saying that because of the devaluation of the Naira, they are unable to continually import fuel because it has become more expensive. You're spending more Naira to import the same amount of fuel that you've always imported. So there's a scarcity. But some people are saying, is it sabotage?
The statement on that paper, the fact of the matter is that, according to them, that that's one of their excuses. Also, they said that they are being owed 264 billion of subsidy. On subsidy. So, based on that unpaid subsidy and the devaluation of Naira, they cannot supply. However, NNPC made a statement, I think it's in Vanguard, that they have supplied 688 million PMS that we should have filled. That was on Friday.
Million liters
that we should have filled. But we're not seeing this. Whatever the 688 million is hanging
Chris,
somewhere.
Any comments on this before we close?
I think that what will come handy is Sir Walter Scott. He said, oh, what a tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive. That's where we are, you know. Do they want the price of gasoline, fuel, to go back to 97 naira?
Maybe.
Do they want it to, because there's rumors in the mill that Mr. President wants to reduce it again for political reasons to 65. Are they protesting against that? What is the gamut of this theatrics? Is it about sabotage? I think that the time has come for governance and those who rule us to be truthful, open and forthright to the Nigerian people. Because if you look through records, this is the only country in OPEC and the 6th largest producer of crude oil in the world that imports what it has in quantum. This is the only country that has 4 refineries that are decrepit and comatose. And it's a tragedy.
Know this. I mean, this is like, if 5-year-old child will tell you this information, it's just how do we move from this point forward? All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we return, did you watch yesterday's Meet the President? We'll discuss that vis-a-vis the anti-Buhari protesters at the Chatham House that happened on Thursday. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Welcome back. Last week, there were lots of reactions from many Nigerians about the All Progressive People's presidential candidate, General Muhammadu Buhari's speech at the Chatham House, where anti-Buhari protesters had no idea why they were there. This has raised a lot of dust and brought up so many questions about the opposition party. Also, over the weekend, President Goodluck Jonathan met with over 5,000 youth, where he promised to engage more youth in his administration. It's your view, let it count. Let's hear your thoughts on his meeting yesterday with the youth, and also the speech of GMB on Thursday, vis-a-vis also the protester, because I know President Jonathan was asking that, or someone was asking that, did we rent you? And he said, no. But APC is claiming that the PDP rented crowd in
Not
Thursday.
claiming.
They are not claiming, no.
Listen, because there are a few arguments saying that maybe would actually APC actually paid them to say that PDP paid them. You know, there are different conspiracy theories flying around. It's like, oh, it was the APC that went to pay these people. You know, so there are different theories. But did anybody watch this? Olga, did you watch the Meet the President yesterday?
Yes, I did.
What are your thoughts? Let's start with your thoughts on that.
First, if the crowd was rented, the answer is yes.
Let him say
No, you
why
asked me
now.
why. You asked
Why?
me
Okay. Why?
You cannot, in 24 hours, this is Nigeria. I ran a presidential election in 2011. You cannot, in 24 hours, assemble that kind of crowd of
Without financial incentives.
groups and organizations without financial incentives, without paying for them. And then don't forget that all the meetings of Mr. President, these things are open secrets. All the meetings, cash in dollars, are doled out. And I think that this is the first time in the history of our country where we have elevated compromise to an act of state. And so when we look at issues, we overlook them, but that's the truth. You ask yourself, the thousands of youths who gathered at the hall, I saw the whole thing. And then the news, I grew up watching network news.
Yes.
Obviously, for the past 1 year. I sent out something on Twitter on Saturday that this is the first time in the history of our country that we've gone to an all-time low where 30 minutes of the about 45 or 50 minutes network news program is dedicated to adverts of Mr. President. And so now they extend it to taking out the news hour completely, and that's the Jonathanian transformation. And then you ask me what happened at the hall. You saw it. You know, let's call a spade by its name. Let's not call a spade.
Whether you like it or not, whether you like it or not, if you have a meeting with the president, it is possible. These people are coming from all over the country. They will give them something because people like Toyosi. I think she's a credible person. People like Ogunlesi, these are young people that we see and we respect and we think that they are leaders. And when we see them in these kind of meetings, we always expect a lot from them. Talk about, you want to say something from here?
Financial incentive is a normal
It's a
thing.
Nigerian factor.
It's a Nigerian factor in every political gathering. You don't expect that you will attend a rally and you won't get something out of it. That is a standard. It is not political.
Let me pause
it is not based on parties.
Pause for a second.
All
Just
parties.
1 second. Interestingly, though,
No, but you want me to say
Professor,
that?
1 second. Professor Shibaja has been here 2 or 3 times, not on this show, on other shows, and I know the staff. People have actually lamented that about you, he just came and left.
Came and left.
Not one. Fashola came here and left. Not one couple.
No, you want me to tell you the truth.
Interestingly,
No, let's
though it's a Nigerian factor, it didn't happen.
Let's be
We're
profound
shocked.
here. No, let's be profound here. See, because when we try to generalize and accommodate some level of mediocrity, it's unfair to the Nigerian people. We have candidates, we have politicians who do not compromise, who do not bend the standards.
Thank you, sir.
I know, for instance, that GMB, General Mohammed Buhari, at the primaries did not dole out a dime. He appealed to the conscience of the people and told them what he wants to do. The Nigerian people, my late dad taught me something, and I lived with it. He told me that you have more good men in the universe than bad men, and that is why our universe has not been destroyed. That was why Hitler did not finish us. That was why Mussolini did not finish us. So I know that you have 1,001 Nigerians who will not soil their fingers. So I sincerely believe that if you watch that event, oh, come on.
Let me come to Nima for a second.
Me, I watched the Chatham House demonstrations. I also watched the Meet the President yesterday. I look forward to a time where the larger number of Nigerian youth, would address issues based on facts and critically criticize issues with, strong facts without adding sentiments. What I saw yesterday and what I saw from the Chatham House demonstration showed a lot of sentiments. In fact, there was someone in the crowd saying, "You are too old. You know the shame." The lady in question was saying, "Koriro." She used the word and she had to emphasize it by using it in Yoruba, that koriro, that the general doesn't, the insults they pass, the dish on him doesn't affect him. Now that is a Nigerian youth, somebody of a middle age. Some time ago I was in the bus and 2 guys were arguing. Another guy was behind giving them false information, because from my own point of view they were all false, saying even at the peace accord the president was poisoned. They attempted to poison him. The Tinubu and his cohorts tried. Those were like, don't mind it. In this country, Nigerian youth, we should have gone past that stage where someone just comes with false information, you know, just gives us sentiment based on tribes, based on, you know, a young age, and then we don't look at issues.
I agree with passing false information as being the truth. And I saw it on Facebook yesterday where somebody put a picture of Osinbajo and an elderly man and passed the elderly man and his father. Guess what? 366 comments. And they were all saying, can you imagine how rich this man is? If he cannot build a house for his father, then he doesn't deserve. Imagine a false picture. Everyone just believes.
The man now, somewhat look like him.
It looks like him a little
bit. So
but the point I want to draw out in this is that as much as people believe that monetary reward must accompany when you're gathering for any political rally, the Chatham House rally, the supporters for Buhari, nobody from the opposition made a video to show that those ones were paid.
Okay, let me take this call from Shola. Shola from Kwaja, good morning, long time.
Good morning, ma'am.
How have you been?
Fine.
Please go ahead.
You are welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, lawyer, welcome. Please, if you are helping us, the grammar make it come down small. I beg.
Say, Chris.
Thank you. Meanwhile, concerning our youth, right from 1992 till date, the youth psyche has been bought. Politically, I'm not talking of any other gathering. Today, politically, you cannot, I repeat, you cannot hold back at least 500 youths without expectation of funds. It cuts across all political parties.
Even music, sir.
Forget pretense of some of political leaders who might come to the studio. They are all the same when it comes to gathering of youth. That's my take. Good morning.
All right, thank you. So we also saw, yes, that's what you're going to say, because at the meeting yesterday, we saw a lot of music. A lot of things they feel that dancing, selfies, you know, and it was like, okay, we're here to discuss
is this
issues.
What the youth are about now?
Yes.
Is it just about dancing, shoki,
Brian, please let me quickly say something. Fashola held
2,800
2,800 days in office.
Sorry?
Sometimes Fashola held his 2,800 days in office. There were Nigerian youth there. There were people of middle age there, and we saw the interaction. It was based on critical issues. You know, he said the things he had done in Lagos State. That was the kind of interaction. But they said yesterday.
Could you say that?
No, that's rally. When you have a rally and you have an interaction with Nigerian, not selected Nigerian youth now, but Nigerian youth.
Stop for a second.
The truth, when we say people are posting lies and it is believed, we need to take a look at the rate of illiteracy in this country. I'm not saying that every illiterate is dumb, but when the country has over 80% illiteracy, and Wisdom Wike himself said that we have 35 million illiterate adults in this country. Out of 70 million voters, we are contending with people that will be easily swayed by propaganda. So we need to put out the truth over and over again. Okay. The opposition should not try fighting propaganda. I like what they did with this one. There was an investigation to find out from the protesters why they were there. Yes. More information needs to go into researching into all the propaganda and debunking them.
Okay, I have a call from Adewale. I'll come to you, Chris. Adewale, are you there?
Hey, good morning, Moraya.
Good morning. Please go ahead.
Jumzo.
The building.
Let's face the facts. This country is going to explode.
I reject it for us.
I'm telling you, don't let us deceive ourselves. It's for us to find a solution to it now. Before it explodes, don't let us deceive ourselves. If you go to the social media, you are going to say something now. If you see the way youth are destroying this country now, we fear for this country for 5 years now. I'm reading one of your papers here. President said, some people said it's saboteur. They are trying to sabotage the oil sector. Who is sabotaging who? If you have a competent leader, that's why you have people that sabotage your efforts. How can you be a president of this Federal Republic of Nigeria and someone is trying to bring you down to your knees and you have the power, you call yourself? I think this problem, this country.
Thank you so much. Let me come to Chris on this matter because, let me let you go.
You saw the speech by Jimmy Abaji at the program yesterday. You saw how banal it was. He asked the people, the youths, quote and unquote, if Jonathan doesn't look better than Buhari, and then went on
handsome?
Binal, is he handsome, and the likes. And then you had people chanting. It was a comic rendition of
God
sorts.
bless you,
It was
sir.
a comic rendition of sorts. And then you ask yourself, would the Nigerian youth who's jobless, would the Nigerian youth who lost friends, sisters, and brothers at the immigration
service,
job
yes.
hunt come there to dance? Will the Nigerian youth who can barely walk his phone without "and I passed my neighbor generator" come there to chant? What is the scorecard? I put online a few days ago something that I asked my followers. I said, if this regime deserves a second term, on what praxis?
Power.
You know, because I need to know exactly where we're
Concerning
headed.
power, he said we should
You
give him
know.
18 months. According to what he said,
Yes,
yesterday.
he
Yeah,
did.
please give us 18
He asked
months.
for 4 years.
Before.
He asked for 4 years.
I said if he can't do it
And
within
he-
4 years, then he
should-
cannot do
then he
anything.
should-
Also, he told us just a few weeks ago that he has added 1,500 to the power supply. I beg to say that within that after that statement I watched on TV,
Power has gone
my
down.
power has gone down.
No,
So
that's-
I don't understand what the
No,
campaign
you want to
strategy is
know
all
the
about.
truth. You want to know the truth. The truth is that there is a lot of falsehood in the air. The truth is the fact that he met power at 4,200 megawatts. Today we have less than 4,000 megawatts.
All right,
the truth is that the policy of this government hasn't bettered any segment or sector of the Nigerian estate. And so who are we going to blame?
Now, somebody
Who-
asked
you
me
know,
if why I
the
want
youths-
change.
The youths went there. The youths went there.
I
They were
hear you,
bought
and
people.
I think
Entertainment has been better,
yeah.
Cha. We saw Toyin Aimaku dancing. I'm a Yoruba girl. I'm a
well, I
Yoruba
mean, she
girl.
was just even off. I didn't understand how, like,
That is not a
Extremely
representation of the Nigerian youth that I see, that I represent.
God bless
Well, you know one
That
thing,
is not
one
it
thing-
at
one thing-
all.
one
But
thing-
we have
one thing that-
moved,
wait, 1 second,
unfortunately.
Nima. One thing that came to me, however, is that whether we like it or not, this entire campaign has somewhat made the president to at least listen to young people, to try to involve them. As someone, I want to use the word sit up, because the truth is that when you see,
We have never met him
We've
until
never-
yesterday. 4 years we never met the president
Suddenly
until
we are so
yesterday.
important.
You
And then
there,
if he
like,
listens
Betty,
to
you
those,
are not
if he
isolated.
listens to those
Psychopaths.
who he wants to listen to, then that's not an interaction.
Right, let's take a quick break,
Exactly.
because there's a lot of controversy, hot topic around this. The Faneka Aid story, there's so many other issues going around the Jega story. Let's take a quick break. When we return, we'll dig further on these controversies across board. Stay with us, we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. So let's not focus only on the negative part. Let us look for some positive things that happened at that meeting. He did say that that very soon Nigeria will start driving made in Nigeria cars. That even his convoy will be made up of made in Nigeria cars. eventually.
Assembled or made.
No, Mariah, I
all
want
of
to
the
say
above,
something.
assembled and made,
We've,
yes.
we've been in this country under this leadership for about over 5 years,
6 years.
going to 6 years, and we've heard him make promises and did not fulfill them. So I don't trust him. I don't trust that every statement he made in that campaign, he would fulfill any of them. I feel that he has so told me over and over again he would do this, do that, do this, do that, and he doesn't fulfill them. Now, can we just hold him accountable for the failures in the past and can just
Okay,
let
let me
account for those failures first?
Let me take
Don't
Boss's
promise
call.
me.
Then let's take a few tweets. Boss, are you there?
Good morning. Yes, I'm here.
Good morning. Please go ahead.
Good morning, Moyo and others. Thank you. Yes, please, I want to make a contribution. Truly, we need a change. Nigerians need change. There are so many allegations. Please, I want President Buhari to enlighten us on some. For example, I watched a sponsored program yesterday outlining so many things against Tinubu. I felt so much concerned. If this is true, how will Buhari tackle this? But Tinubu is godfather in APC. Does he have the wit to face all these things? Because they must be tackled. We cannot condone corruption to this length. If Tinubu is guilty of this, then I'm afraid it is a bad image for APC. I am for change. I am supporting Buhari. These allegations against Tinubu, let them clear this thing, please.
All right, good. Thank you. We'll come, I'll let you talk
May I
about
take tweets?
Let's take some tweets first, and we'll address that issue.
Bisola says, great people discuss persons, greater people discuss issues, while greatest people discuss issues. Politicking in this country is at the first level, that's discussing persons. Father Unsi Olaoluwa said, as an educated youth, it isn't enough to listen to flying rumors. We need to do our own research before aligning ourselves with such rumors. Temitope says, I fear for our youth. The level of spreading falsehood is too high, and it's as a result of not being interested in reading.
That's correct.
A progressive says, a conversation that is not a no-hold-barred isn't a conversation. Attendees were specially invited, not general.
Let me take 3 from Nima.
Okay, Onimakel says, money is more potent than truth. Falsehood plus money sells fast than truth in a poverty-stricken society. God help us.
Let me take Kingsley's call. I don't want to lose this call. Good morning, Kingsley. Are you there?
I'm still here. Good morning.
Please go ahead. Thanks for calling.
Great. First, we say good morning to you all. Thank you for a good program, and Chris, well done.
Good morning.
Now, critically, I attended the rally, or was it a meeting with the youth 5 years ago when the president called for it at the Eco Hotel. And I can remember clearly all the controversies that trailed that particular meeting. I was there. I got 2 books in a bag, and thereafter I learned that 50,000 was signed to my name that I collected it. That controversy I haven't recovered from till today. Jumakado, if you know me, my name is KJP, so you know clearly. So yesterday, and that was put up by Moronto and Co. and all of that. Yesterday, when I put on my TV and I saw some of my aburos that I revere and I respect, I was hot. Now, not because they're supporting the president. Some people must support the president. We should not get it wrong. The president has not, it's not as if he has a zero performance. Okay? He just had a below performance for the kind of revenue he had gotten in 4 years. That's the issue. Now, did anybody that yesterday discuss the issues that affect the youth? Is polio our problem as youth? That the president will be telling us how much they eradicated polio. What are the real issues? Did anybody raise up their hands in that forum to say this is our problem and how are you going to tackle it? I didn't see all of that. It was a jamboree.
Jamboree, yeah, that's the right
word. Thank you so much, Kingsley.
But what is critical?
Yes.
Wow.
I'm
sorry.
50,000 naira was signed to his name. He didn't get it, but 50,000 naira was signed.
So if that's what happened then, let's just say minimally, 50,000 naira was given to these 5,000 people. How much that?
That is in billions.
So the possibility, minimal, they probably got 50,000 naira. Let's talk about the Tinubu story. Because now we are talking about the issue of the Femi Fani-Kayode. The woman raised it. Now, this allegation of Femi Fani-Kayode saying that the plan is for Professor Oshibajo to resign from the vice presidency after 6 months, and then Tinubu comes in through the back door. That was the conspiracy. Although Dele Aleke responded, I saw it on one of the blogs this morning, saying that he used the word is incredulous and it's jejune. Jejune means uninteresting, boring, and juvenile. So I was like, this new word. But I also heard that Abigari also responded.
Yeah,
but
on Twitter.
This issue of Tinubu, why is everybody so? What was the issue around this Tinubu? This man called Tinubu on this matter.
Can I say something?
Chris, yes.
The truth is that as a student of revolutionary struggles, the Nigerian people should and must salute the emergence of Bola Ahmed Tinubu for 3 reasons. He's not the only one who's made money in government, but he's the one who has supported an opposition. He's the one who has given his country viable opposition. He's the reason the PDP and their goons are sleepless. That's point number 1. Point number 2, he's not the only one who has governed the state and built businesses and estates. He is the one who has ensured that the small parties in the opposition have come together, coalesced at a place where they would say, we must save Nigeria. And then number 3, Tinubu hasn't said that I'm going to guard or gag Buhari. Don't forget that these same people who are saying that Tinubu is almighty, all-powerful, are saying that Buhari is a despot and a dictator.
Exactly.
So it just baffles me how they think. And I say this with the greatest sense of humility. On the one hand, you say Buhari is impossible. Buhari is difficult to deal with. All your adverts are saying that Buhari is a despot, And now, on the other hand, you're saying Tinubu will lord it over Buhari. So they don't have an argument.
That was just what I noted.
They don't have an argument. And then on the other side, whether people want to know exactly where we're headed, Tinubu is not a presidential candidate, for God's sake. We have 2 presidential candidates. And then about Pastor Shibajo, don't forget that this man is not just a boy. He is a senior advocate of Nigeria, a proven pastor, a man of impeccable credibility. And to tell him to format for 8 years, to tell him to sign in futurio, a resignation letter, he shams Abraham. He makes me laugh. And so,
like I said, that all that swearing thing, it doesn't happen in APC. It's a PDP that you go to Kija and start swearing.
No, I want to say something. You know? We see, and you know, you dealt with it so well. I feel like I'm just going to be butchering what you're saying. We have a Buhari who is a general. You don't become a general as a dummy. You don't become a general as somebody that just plays eye service.
Excuse me.
And he was a president before.
Excuse me. Some of us, for whatever reasons, do not support a Buhari. Someone like me. But what I don't believe in is that for fear of him, for whatever reasons that anybody has fears of him, you should then send people who are paid, you know, to go and protest against him. Let us deal on issues. Is anybody talking about healthcare in Nigeria?
Please, why don't you support the boy?
First of all, his age.
She has always had that issue with his
72, he's my grandfather. I think that he should have mentored many people in 31 years of him being out of office.
You want me to give you a quick one?
Yes, go ahead.
When America had failures in terms of dealing with the Gulf, the Middle East, and then the Cold War crisis, they went for a movie actor.
Okay.
Who was how old? America. The sophistication of America.
Okay.
They went for a movie actor who was 70 years old.
Okay.
Reagan was sworn in as a 70-year-old American president, and he did 2 terms and left power at 78. Age is not the issue. What is fundamental is that at this point in the history of our country, we must fight corruption. And the man who fits the buck is GMB.
Okay, first, let me come to Nima.
I want to quickly talk about this paid, activists. We know that you have activists everywhere. Now, when you want to use certain people to, protest against something, at least look for those people so that it won't be illegal. Because I said it was illegal for someone who didn't know why they were protesting against something to be protesting against it.
They were paid to do it.
Even if they were paid, they should have tried to study. Now they asked a lady a Nigerian, that, okay, do you know what the political situation is back home? You are protesting now. He said, you should, at this point in time, you should be able to say, this is why I am protesting. This is how you should even be able to argue the Jumoke line is old. You know, the lady 72.
Her statement was that
I don't know.
I'm not even supporting. I'm not supporting.
I don't even know why I'm doing this.
I don't even know why I'm here.
It is totally illegal for someone to take money and not be able to deliver.
Yeah.
The lady in question, the protesters couldn't deliver. They were just,
But the lady said that they are all master degree holders, that they are all graduates.
The Chatham
graduates without IQ.
The Chatham spectacle was a show of shame. I tell you, because you ask yourself, when I saw Rose Peter's blog and I saw what she did, I called her and she said, Chris, I am so disappointed with what goes on here. Nigerians are so hungry, so they just fall in for anything. It was a show of shame. It was a job poorly done by Jonatanians and their campaign goons. And I tell you, with the greatest sense of respect, that you can't expect anything better. It's always been like that. Okay. They will not raise the bar. I asked somebody, why insult us? They call us propagandists. They call us all sorts of names. But that's because the truth. When you say the truth is like a sharp knife. It cuts through every part of you.
Well, let's
the truth that we have been preaching since the emergence of GMB is that the time to kill corruption is now. And when we kill corruption, we will release resources for development.
All right, let me take a quick break because you've heard quite a bit on this issue. But when we return, we'll dig further. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Let's take 3 each.
Olayinka Braid says, Chatham protest is just a disgrace to Nigerian youth. Akin Dicey says, please remind Jumoke that Mandela was 74 when he became president. Awolowo and Azikiwe contested at over 70.
73 and 75.
Oshoba Sodiq says, I feel so happy when I see a lawyer speak. Thanks for bringing him to bed today. No better way to start a day.
Yeah, let's take another.
David Adele says that the irony is that those who engage in corruption love it. The tragedy is that those of us who aren't directly engaged in it accommodate it. And then Yahya Usman says the type of youth that we have, I weep for my country. If Shekau could dish out dollars, our youth would say is the best thing to happen to this country.
Yeah. All right, let me take Princess Jessica. Good morning. Are you there?
I am right. I missed you guys. Good morning.
Good morning. Long time.
Looking beautiful as ever. Yes.
Thank you.
I thank God for a man in our midst.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Dr. You're welcome.
Thank
I
you.
always miss you when you're not on set. Your views are always straight to point.
Thank you.
Jumoke, I love you this morning. You don't stand for any of those guys up there making our money useless. But all the same, I think we should face issues as they are, issues that affect us. We start from our daily living. There are people out there who cannot afford a meal. Nobody is addressing it. Are we saying that there are no other people apart from the past rulers that can come and lead this country the way it should? We should have kingmakers and not being king all the time. What is that thing that is so attractive that people who had ruled us are, or that are still ruling do not want to leave that power? We have credible people, for God's sake. We have them. We should, as youth, also begin to advocate for ourselves and face the truth as it is. Thank you very much.
Now, all right, thank you so much, Princess Jessica.
Please, I want to address something she said.
Yes.
Poverty and social amenities is a major cardinal point of Buhari's campaign. Over and over again, he has promised to resolve social amenities to people. So when you say that they're not addressing the issue that people have not been cannot eat, it's actually been addressed by one of the parties anyway.
No, the two things I want us to talk on. Number one, Jimmy Agbaje's speech, which you mentioned, because I was reading on Twitter, a lot of people said, oh, I support Agbaje, I love Agbaje, he's my man. But the moment he starts supporting Jonathan, that we have a problem. Because they say, oh, I'll vote him, I'll do Buhari National, we'll do Agbaje Lagos. But the moment you start supporting Jonathan, I read that on Twitter.
You have just called my name.
That's one. Then number two, the other issue, this Tinubu factor, is always a factor because a lot of people can get past that Tinubu factor with GMB, and I think if you helped us to address it properly.
No, but
we buried that properly. So it's important for us to know that we buried that properly.
Another example, Lagos State was ruled by Tinubu, and people always felt that Tinubu was governed by Tinubu, and we also felt that, oh, Tinubu is going to be a huge influencer within Fashola's reign. Fashola has been there for almost 8 years now. Has he not worked well? We can also cite the example of Ogun State, who was also supported by Tinubu. Has it not worked well? We can go to Osun State. Has it not worked well? Name any state backed by Tinubu that is not working with proof to show that they are working. Gotcha. Then you can say that influence of Tinubu on Buhari will mean that it won't be governed well.
Let's help the last caller because her sentiments are strong.
Okay.
Now, she talked about those who had governed us before. In 2011, with the greatest sense of humility, I was the youngest candidate. I was 40. They said I was too young. In 2015, they're saying that Buhari is too old. So where do we stand?
Let me take
the fundamentals should simply be about issues.
Alexander, are you still there?
Yeah, I am.
Please go ahead. Going to close soon. Go ahead.
Yeah. You know, with the topical discussion this morning, I have to give some facts. See, Buhari came on board during his being then. That was the time I was born. And right now, I think I'm in my early 30s anyway, and I'm grown up. If a man could maybe kind of throw Nigeria about years ago, and he wants maybe kind of come on board, right, to lead this country, I think so many things that involved. See that, look at over there. He said 2011 he contested, and he didn't win anyway. There's nothing stopping him to recontest. If he's a Nigerian president today, nothing bad in that. If GMB could be something like two and he still wants to, I think so many things are involved. We're talking about attacking corruption. They have people like Amechi sponsoring his presidential campaign alongside with Tinubu, people are corrupt. Let's go back to Imo State. But what?
All right.
No, can I say this? Please, can I say this? It is on record that Tinubu was subjected to investigation in 2010, 2011. It's on record that he was drilled for 2 days. It's on record that he was absolved of culpability because all the accounts that were alleged to have been used to filter money were accounts that were existing before he became governor. And the EFCC and the Code of Conduct found him clean. The point is, if you have allegations against him, go to the courts. I am not saying he's a saint. And at this point in our history, we're not caught in a battle of sainthood. We're caught between two odds. Who is better between a man who has turned governance to a bazaar and a man who's saying, I will fight corruption? It is simple. And I simply want to say that, and that's for those who think about age, who are still saying this thing about age. Roosevelt was on a wheelchair when he governed America through the times of war. He did a total 4 terms, and that was why they did the amendment to restrict American presidents to 2 terms. Now, after, you know Charles de Gaulle in France, when it was time for France to look for someone who would redirect the state, they didn't go for a young man, they went for an ex-general, Charles de Gaulle. Now, when it was time for the British Empire to survive the anomy of war, they went for the great, he was a whiskey drinker and a cigar smoker, but he was, Winston Churchill came out as an old man, and he did lead Britain through the times of crisis. And we are in crisis. We're in a terrible state. Naira is like what this man, Idi Amin, will call shit money. And NEPA is not working. The electricity sector is comatose. We see a few roads and they tell us the federal government has done so much. They tell us they have repaired the railways. You don't have a coach, a train that can go to Ibadan in 4 hours. And then you ask yourself, why are they presenting airports? How does it affect the Nigerian masses?
With AC not working.
No, wait. How does it affect the Nigerian masses? You should talk about the poor people. You should be talking about me who can pay the money to fly. I'm talking about how government affects the Nigerian hoi polloi. And unfortunately, we live in a system where governance has not addressed fundamental issues of state. And we have an alternative, the change movement.
Why aren't you contesting again?
Oh, well, God willing,
I'm
almost convinced by you.
We have to end the show because everybody agrees on this table that if Jonathan had done just one thing,
power.
If it was only power, maybe we wouldn't have to go through this.
We wouldn't have to even campaign.
I would have voted.
Just one thing for the poor people can relate with. But this, we build this, we build that, it's not working. But anyway, let's just see what happens.
He's entitled to.
I think it was a great time with you, Chris. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, don't forget to watch a repeat broadcast. Thanks our viewers for watching. Those that tweeted, please, thank you so much. I always forget to thank those that tweeted on the show. Thank you very much. You can watch a repeat broadcast at 11:30 p.m. tonight. You can also watch previous episodes by going to YouTube/TV Entertainment and search for Yourview. Do you have a PVC, sir?
Yes, I do.
Very good. Your vote is your right. Don't waste it. Use it wisely. God bless you. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.